Hey folks, this lesson is composite figures. This is 10.7 in our textbook. Don't forget all your lessons can be found at Mrmathblog.com. And there's our common core strand for our most groovy teachers. And our question is, how can we find the area of composite figures? Okay, so let's do a little review on our formulas, you guys. So identify the figure for each area formula. Okay, so area equals length times width. Well, that's a rectangle right there, and it's real similar to a parallelogram. In fact, this one's a parallelogram right here, so base times height. This could be base times height also, but length times width is a rectangle for area. These are all, remember, in square units. Okay, so if we see s squared, then that means it's the side of a square. So it's also base times height or length times width or s times s or s squared. Okay, this is for a parallelogram if we know the base and the height. Okay, so here's the base, here's the height. The area is just base times height. These are all the same. We just multiply base times height. All right, what's this one? Okay, that one's your triangle. So 1/2 base times height. Okay, and then this one was the last lesson that we did was the trapezoid. Okay, so area equals 1/2 the sum of the bases, base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And the bases on the trapezoid are the two parallel sides. Okay, so a composite figure is made up of two or more simpler figures such as triangles and quadrilaterals. So here's an example. Tom has a doorway in the shapes of this figure right here. So he's going to paint the figure and needs to know the area of the entire figure to determine how much paint to purchase. So what's the area of the entire figure? So we're going to go ahead and find the area of all of this right here. So I see some rectangles, I see a couple of triangles, and I see a square up here. So what we're going to do is get the area of all of those and add them together. Okay, so the area of a rectangle, length times width. So we're going to go ahead and plug in. Here's the length right here, 10 times 4. So 10 times 4 is going to give us 40. Don't forget there's two of them, so find two of them. 2 times 40 is going to give us 80. Okay, so 80 feet squared. All right, so I put the 40 in there and the 40 there. Those add up to 80. The next thing we're going to do is find the area of this triangle right here. So triangle formula, 1/2 base times height. Okay, so 1/2 base is the 4 and the height is also the 4, so 4 times 4, and then half of 4 times 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. Half of that is 8. You could also do half of this 4 right here is 2, and then 2 times 4 gives us 8 also. Okay, so that's one of them. So we got to find both of them, so we're going to multiply 2 times 8 gives us 16. So we have 80 for the two rectangles, we have 16 for the two triangles. Now we find the area of the square. Okay, so the area of a square formula is just side squared, so we're going to go ahead and do 4 squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4 is 16. All right, now we're going to add them all together. Okay, so the 80 counts for these two guys, so that's what this is right here, 80. And then these two triangles, remember they added up to this 16 right here. Okay, and then this square right here is also 16, so we're going to add up 80 plus 16 plus 16. Okay, so I did that over here. 6 and 6 is 12. We'll carry the 1 and put the 2 down there, and then 1 plus 8 is 9, 10, 11, so we get 112 feet squared. Okay, so Tom needs to buy enough paint to cover 112 feet squared. Okay, all right. So discuss another way we could have divided this composite figure into to find the area. Well, there's a trapezoid. We could have cut it up with the trapezoid on top and the two rectangles on the bottom. And the trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. Okay, so this was 4, this was 4, this was 4, so this would have been 12 plus this top piece is 4, and then we could have used our trapezoid formula and then added in the two 80s. We would have still got the same area right there. All right, let's find the area of this composite figure right here. Okay, so I see a triangle, a square, and a trapezoid. Okay, all right, so the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so here's the base. Here's the height. The height is the same as this over here, so we'll put the 12 in right there. Okay, and we can do half of 16 is 8, and then 8 times 12. 8 times 12 is 96, or we can do half of 12 is 6 and then do 16 times 6. Either way, we get 96 for that triangle right there. All right, now let's find the area of the square. Okay, so the square is a 12 by 12, so we're going to do 12 squared, which is 144, and then the area of the trapezoid. Okay, so the base is, here's base 1, here's base 2. All right, so let's go ahead and plug that in. So base 1 is 9, base 2 is 12, and the height is that 6 right there, okay? All right, let's go ahead and add 9 plus 12, gives us that 21 right there. And then I'm going to do half of 6 is 3, and then 3 times 21 is 63, okay? So that's 63. So we'll find the total area by adding all the pieces together right there. So the 96 for this, the 144 for the square, and then the 63 up there for that trapezoid. And when we add all those together, we get 303 and it's centimeters squared. Remember, area is always square units. So whatever the units are, don't forget to end it in square units. My high school students still forget to do that. They'll just put 303. Well, if it's an area question, it's always square units, so 303 centimeters squared. So the composite figure is 303 centimeters squared. Okay, all right, so let's find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so the shaded region is going to be the rectangle minus that square. Okay, so the rectangle is going to be, now remember, 1 foot in inches. We got to change this to 12 inches right here. So 1 foot equals 12 inches. So we're going to put in 12 times 6. We can't put in 1 because it's in feet. We got to have everything in the same units. 12 times 6 is 72. Then we'll find the area of that square. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we subtract those because it's the rectangle. Take away the square. So it's going to be 72 minus that 9 is going to be 63 inches squared, okay? So the area of that shaded region is going to be 63 inches squared. All right, you guys, I hope that makes sense, and take care.